Can a bad price turn a dream LEGO Star Wars set into a nightmare? Let's find out. Hello everybody, the Brickologist here with another new LEGO Star Wars set review and my first August 1st LEGO set review for 2025. Today we have LEGO Star Wars set number 75435, Battle of Felucia Separatist MTT. This set retails for $160 US and I paid that full retail price when I found it early at my local Target. It contains 976 pieces and here is a front look at your box. And I gotta say, I do think the box art looks very nice. The back of the box showcases some of the play features found within this set. This set includes one instruction manual with 201 pages of building, and unfortunately it has the hideous artwork we've come to expect from modern LEGO sets. At the back of the manual, there's a big page here with advertisements for all of the new LEGO Star Wars Summer 2025 sets. I have several of these and expect reviews for them in the coming week. Slightly fewer than 1,000 pieces later, the set is now complete. You get the main MTT build, you also get a staff off to the side, and a few minifigures plus a whole lot of droids. I think it's fitting to kick off the minifigure segment of this review by taking a closer look at the normal battle droid, of which you get 6 in this set. And look, these have hardly changed in the 26 years since their introduction in 1999, and I'm really happy about that. They're one of the few classic molds that remain almost unchanged for the most part, besides the flipping of the hand so they can hold the blaster in the right way. These look great. I love battle droids. LEGO, please never alter this design. The exact same battle droid pilot that was found in the May 4th Troop Carrier promo from 2024 is also included in this set, and it looks great. Absolutely no complaints from me here. For the first time since 2013, LEGO has included commando droids in a LEGO Star Wars set. Now, a lot of people have discussed the color change from dark brown to now gunmetal gray, and I agree they do look brown from certain angles, but for every brown picture you see of one of these droids, there's one that looks pretty gunmetal to me, so I actually think this was a valid color choice from LEGO. And objectively, the printing on the torso here is a lot better. The slight updates to the head look a lot better as well, and overall I just think these are a lot better than the older version of the character. I like this quite a bit, and 3 of them are included here, which is really nice. For the first time since 2017, LEGO has included an Ayla Secura minifigure in a set, and I think she looks pretty great. My only complaint is her lipstick color is more peachy here when it should have been more pink or salmon colored. Besides that, all the printing has been updated and it looks fantastic to me. I absolutely love the headpiece. All the printing on that is wonderful. She has a good double-sided face and nice back print as well. For the most part, this is a pretty spectacular Ayla Secura minifigure. Last and certainly not least is Commander Bly, one of the most heavily requested clone trooper minifigures for LEGO to create. And the first thing a lot of people are going to comment on about this figure is the fact he does not have a waist cape. And look, I do agree, waist capes would be a nice inclusion, and they do look better than the printed versions LEGO has been giving us recently. However, I'm kind of over that complaint, and everything else about this figure looks spectacular, including a brand new pauldron mold that looks really cool. His helmet is great, and because he utilizes the helmet holes for the visor piece, I think it's one of the best clone helmets we've gotten in recent memory. You can flip up that visor to reveal some extra detail. His torso print is spectacular. He has a great clone face print underneath that and some good back printing to boot. So overall, besides the waist cape issue, this is an amazing looking Commander Bly minifigure, and I'm frankly just happy he exists. Before we look at the MTT, you get a single trooper aerial platform, aka a STAP, and it looks good. LEGO mastered STAPs a long time ago for this theme. They haven't really improved drastically on them, but it does look very slick to me. It of course can hold one of your commando droid figures like so. I like the clear display stand. Yeah, this is a perfect side build for a Separatist style set. I have nothing to complain about here. Now we can transition and talk about the main build of the set, the Separatist multi-troop transport transport itself, aka the MTT. Now this is the first ever time LEGO has made this color variation of an MTT in the play scale. They once did a poly bag of this blue and gray MTT, but that didn't really satisfy LEGO Star Wars fans, and I'm really happy to finally have this rendition of the vehicle. Obviously, LEGO has produced several of the brown rendition of the MTT from Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace that is associated with the Trade Federation, including the 2007 set, which is one of the most beloved LEGO Star Wars sets ever created. And no, this is not better than that set, but I do think it is noticeably better than 2014 MTT, which is a fairly similar size. One of my absolute favorite looks of this vehicle is this front-facing view. You can see the sloping here is really effectively done. The triangle-ish shape came together very well for me. And that's accomplished via some very simple yet effective hinge and snot techniques you can see from the side here. All of this transitions down really well. I love the shaping here, the tiling, the studs, everything I think came together extremely nicely. This logo on the side right here is a sticker, but there are only 4 stickers in total with this set, which was kind of a breath of fresh air for a larger LEGO Star Wars product. Another one of said stickers can be found on top of the vehicle right here to represent the quote-unquote eyes of the MTT. That looks very cool, and once again, all of the shaping up top here, especially the angle down and this slight little angle for this dish piece, looks really good. The only thing that throws this off for me are the stud shooters at the front right here. Those are obviously added for play, they work very nicely. I don't blame LEGO for adding those to the set, and they'd be pretty easy to replace if you have extra parts. While we're up at the top here, let's demonstrate how you can access the interior. You basically can take this whole chunk off the top, and then these side panels can fold down to reveal not a half bad little spot. There's a nice little spot to store the pilot droid's blaster, and you can put said droid in this seat right here. He has to lay down, which looks a little bit awkward, but I really like the sticker control panel in front of him. I thought that was a nice touch. Closing that up, let's shift our attention to the front of the vehicle, which has a massive printed dish piece. I love this, a great element for LEGO to include. I also love the shaping right here. Some really clever part choices. All of this came together really nicely. These guns at the front can also articulate on these balls, which is cool. However, the blasters on the guns are so short. This just feels like an odd miscalculation to me. Just look at reference images of the MTT from the Clone Wars. They are much longer than that, and I'm not really sure how LEGO messed that up. Now, I'm gonna wait for later in the video to demonstrate the main function of this set. Save the best part of this build for last, but let's move on to the side of the MTT here, and I'll showcase how you can open up these side panels to reveal some rather unsightly red pieces, but thankfully they're not visible from the exterior. Now, there is a black plate inside here, which has nothing on it. It's not a ton of space, but I do feel like LEGO could have incorporated something inside there for some additional storage. I'm a little bit underwhelmed with the utilization of that right there. Speaking of side panels opening up, these ones can open as well to reveal actually some storage for some additional blasters. So at least they utilize this area a bit better. This also reveals these funny little ball pieces, and you probably guessed what those are. Those are the wheels for this to roll around on and give it the illusion of it hovering off the ground, which works perfectly. Great job with that play function, LEGO. Now we've reached the rear of the MTT itself, and I gotta say, I think this is probably the worst angle of this design. The gap right here doesn't look great. This bottom part looks kind of average if you ask me, and I feel like they probably could have tiled off some of the top right here. Not the best looking part of this build. Now, it is the butt of the vehicle. Most of you are not going to stare at this part of the design, but it's not the best looking in my opinion. But once again, there is an effective opening up function to reveal the interior. Now, there's not a whole lot going inside here, but luckily there is a nice storage spot for the STAP, which you can deploy out the back of the MTT. So that is pretty fun for play value. Okay, we've covered most of the key details of the MTT, so now it's time to talk about the main battle droid deployment feature this set contains, and it's a doozy. It is all actuated by this part right here. Now, obviously this sticks out ever so slightly, but shout out to the designers for making it fit in with the color scheme of this build so it's not too ugly to look at. And by twisting said element, just watch the magic unfold. I mean, seriously, that is so good. And you know what's also crazy is it goes in reverse. It'll pick up the whole thing, this bottom part goes up, and then the dish covers that. Oh my gosh! Alright, let's do another angle because I'm obsessed with this play feature, and the thing that blows me away is look at the angle of the battle droids right here. When they reach the ground, they kind of splay out. That is so good! But my favorite part is you don't have to reset anything manually. By twisting it the other direction, they fold back in and all of this resets itself. I mean, holy crap. To really hone in how good this play feature is, I brought in the last version of the MTT LEGO made in 2014. Watch how the function works here. Now, it starts off pretty nicely. It opens up and it deploys this entire section. There should be battle droids on here. But that's all it does. It does not go to the ground. Now, to reset things, obviously twist the gear the opposite direction. It'll pull this back inside, but these panels have to be flipped up and flipped down manually. But this new MTT does everything for you, and with this panel up, you can kind of see some of the technique from the inside. I won't spoil everything about the design for you, but it's so good. This is legitimately, I think, a top 5 best play feature I've ever seen in a play scale LEGO Star Wars set. I am just blown away by this. Bringing everything together, it's time to wrap up my thoughts here on the LEGO Star Wars Battle of Felucia Separatist MTT set. And I feel like I've been very positive thus far in this review. This set is not perfect by any means. I've pointed out the small little flaws throughout this video, but everything I've said has been mostly good. It's a good looking design, it's good for play, it's a vehicle we've wanted for a long time in the play scale, the minifigures are solid, and the play functions are absolutely out of this world. So you'd think I'd be really happy with this set. And then there's the price. Now, my initial reaction to the price of this set was just appalled because it's sub 1,000 pieces for $160, meaning the price per piece is abysmal. It's absolutely horrible. However, LEGO is a corporation. They are a company. They are in the business of making money. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here for just a minute to see if I can figure out a way to justify the cost of this set. Now, for this segment of the review, I have brought in the 2014 MTT, the last version of this vehicle LEGO Star Wars produced, and I thought that this set back in 2014 was a pretty good value for $90 US. And they're very similar in part count and very similar in size and have the exact same number of minifigures overall, so I think it's a fair comparison between these two sets. Sidebar, the new version is way better in terms of design technique, but that's not what we're talking about right now. So I thought the 2014 set was a good value for $90 11 years ago. Adjust that number for inflation, and it's about $122 in 2025 money. So that's not a great start, but continuing to play devil's advocate, this new set has a really big printed dish piece at the front. The clone trooper has some new elements for the figure. There's some part recolors here in dark blue. There's definitely some stuff incorporated here that should add a little bit of extra value. And then of course, LEGO raised pretty much all the prices of their sets because of the tariffs going on in the United States. This set was supposed to be $150 and now it's $160, so that accounted for a $10 price increase. However, per my calculation, the most I see all of that adding up to be would be like $140, and I still think I'd feel ripped off by this set at that price point. Frankly, I would love this to be $120 at the most, and $130 would be like the typical LEGO Star Wars is pushing it price. $160 is asinine, and there is no justification for it whatsoever. And this comparison here between this set and last year's Star Destroyer, which was also $160 with like, what, 500 more pieces, just completely brings in my entire point home. I cannot believe these two sets will be the same price on store shelves at the same time. So to answer the question I posed at the beginning of this video, I do think a horrible price can ruin an otherwise dream set. And look, I want to give the LEGO designers credit here. They designed a very nice model, and if this set were $120, I would have given it an 8.5 out of 10. However, it's $160, and because of that horrific price, I'm deducting 2 whole points from my grade, giving this set a 6.5 out of 10, which just feels wrong for a build of this caliber, but unfortunately that's the world we live in. Those are just my thoughts though. Love to hear yours in the comment section down below. Thank you all so much for watching today's review. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace out. God bless. Bye-bye.